air conditioner repairs last year, and 60% could have been avoided with a Horizon Clean and Inspect tune-up. Prepare for the heat ahead and identify any issues before they lead to larger problems.
Hi, Lou. Got 3 tickets. You want to ask Linda?
Yeah, I'll ask her.
Okay. Just text me. Let me know. But we should be all good.
Okay.
All right. I think we should leave at about 6 or so, if that's okay, because I think they start at 6:40.
Okay. All right, I'll let her know.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Lou. You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
Good Tuesday. Welcome in, everyone. Dom Giordano Show. And, of course,
two big things on the docket today. We have covered the Biden announcement, running for president. Said one thing in there that I agree with. We are at a war for the nation's soul. That's right. Yeah, we are for a battle with buffoons like this and the mob. He's exactly right on that. That's the one thing out of the statement that is exactly on point. The other story, Tucker Carlson, what happened and what happens next. Bill O'Reilly here at 12:30 to break that down. And he believes that Fox is going to take a hit. I don't see the replacement at Fox per se to do the 8 o'clock show. I just think some of the names that are on the docket there don't have the gravitas you need for that slot, particularly after things like Carlson and Bill O'Reilly. All right, but we'll see who he thinks, and I'll ask him, would he have any interest? Okay, and we might throw in Don Lemon at some point. But let me play you something else Biden said yesterday. Is this Biden babble? He babbles. I mean, he babbles constantly. Today, in honor of his announcement, I have the 5 biggest weirdo lies / exaggerations that I think Biden, and I think you're going to have trouble topping me when you see the 5th one. The 5th one, I think, is pretty good, to put it mildly. Dan doesn't even know. I didn't give him the order on the 5 we have, and we played the cut. Think another Biden in addition to Joe Biden. Okay, now, here's what Biden said, though, about the kiddies. Is it Biden babble, or is this more of part of the vibe of how the National Democrat Party sees things? Just before we played about the kids, tomorrow, finally, maybe a bit of a day of reckoning. Randy Weingarten's going to be on the docket tomorrow with the Republican House. And they're going to talk not just the vagaries of the lockdown, her role in it, but she'll be under oath. What was her part in the email that was changed from the CDC? Remember that whole thing? CDC had one view that was moving forward a little bit. And then Randy Weingarten or the NEA or both got to them because they had the fiat, they had approval over it. And Randy Weingarten got it changed. Now here locally, if we really had investigative reporters that want to do something on the investigative side, they would take a look at a great story, maybe even a book that's out there, Our Own Lockdown, and that's Dr. Damsker. I haven't forgotten about that. The guy was making headway at a realistic policy as far as procedures around COVID, masking, and the schools. And then what happened? Well, what happened is that David Damsker was put in the basement. You know that. I know that. And it was done by
Damsker.
The Good Afternoon woman is the one who did it. So 855-839-1210, you get on board. All right, here is President Biden.
Good afternoon.
Thank you, Allison. Good to hear from you again. Here's President Biden breaking down, is this babble, Or is this what they really believe? And it's all over the place at this point, and rightfully so. He ought to clarify. He can't, but he ought to be made to clarify what he means by this. Here's Biden.
Rebecca put a teacher's creed into words when she said, there's no such thing as someone else's child. No such thing as someone else's child. Our nation's children are all our children.
Oy. All right. Is that Babel? Can we put a little context around that? You hear that. Now, look, if this were just out of the blue, if I said it, for example, which I wouldn't, but if I said it, I don't think it would bat an eye. Here's the context. We have the education bureaucrats, Weingart and the others, shutting down schools. We have the National Guard almost called out on anybody in any way, shape, or form who said anything at the school board meetings. Remember that whole thing that was put out. So when you see that, you get an idea of what they're talking about here. But deep down, Biden maybe is convinced that parental rights have to give way somewhat here. And there is a big interest. Now, look, we know what the interest of the state is or of society. And that's when there's real abuse going on. But they don't see it that way. They've moved the line from real abuse, physical or otherwise. They've moved that line to anything that they want to deem to be abusive, particularly around the area of transgender, abortion, and all those things. You know that. And they want to move the thing away from the sole right being the parent. We constantly hear, well, parents can't make good choices. Or what if they can't make good choices? Defined by whom? Your reaction to that. Is that Babel? Or are we making too much of it? All right. Now, here's a little bit of the Biden speech, and I may stop here, Dan. I don't know which one, at which point. The whole theme, and obviously he's going to start with the big A, with abortion. This is the side accusing us of doing what they're doing. It's projection. It's an entire projection here. Biden is the one that stands for freedom. So-called MAGA Republicans, you know, this awful phrase that he's come up with from his ghoulish time here in Philadelphia. MAGA Republicans, they are the ones that somehow or another have to be held accountable. They're taking away your freedoms. Let's tick off the number of things he tells us that MAGA Republicans are trying to make less free.
Freedom. Personal freedom is fundamental to who we are as Americans. There's nothing more important, nothing more sacred. That's been the work of my first term, to fight for our democracy. This shouldn't be a red or blue issue. Protect our rights, to make sure that everyone in this country is treated equally and that everyone is given a fair shot at making it. But you know, around the country, MAGA extremists are lining up to take on those bedrock freedoms, cutting Social Security that you paid for your entire life,
Social Security
cutting taxes for the very wealthy, dictating what health care decisions women can make,
abortion,
banning books,
telling
people who they can love, all while making it more difficult for you to be able to vote. When I ran for president 4 years ago, I said we're in a battle for the soul of America, and we still are. The question we're facing is whether in the years ahead, we have more freedom or less freedom, more rights or fewer. I know what I want the answer to be, and I think you do too. This is not a time to be complacent.
Finish
That's
it,
why I'm
John.
running for re-election.
All right, we got it here.
You don't want more?
Let's go back and tick off now. Some of it's just visual here, so to speak. Let's go back and tick off. So, you know they're going to go Social Security, but notice abortion. Those who you love. That's an old thing we've seen, always with the so-called voting rights. All right? Up and down the line, this is where this is the theme that they've chosen. I don't know, they're polling, their research, whatever. And yeah, it probably took them 100 hours or more with Biden to get him to spew out a few sentences that are relatively intelligible. I mean, I suspect artificial means.
How many hours of filming do you think it took to cut down to this 3-minute video?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it took, because of just the crowd shots and all, it could have taken 100 hours of filming to put this together. And with him, at least 25 to 30 hours just to call that out of him. God knows how many takes. They probably just had him say it at random times and patched it together. Artificial intelligence could have been involved. You know, it could be robots involved. All right, so that's the theme for now. Right away going to Social Security, right away going to abortion. Now with Trump, that's a lot more difficult. Trump has solidified his position on abortion to a place that I think is much more difficult than DeSantis. He's also solidified himself on Social Security. Now, I think any reasonable person we need Social Security reform and all that. But running in a general election on that now is not the way to go. And DeSantis has a history in Congress of being there on that. And I know you're going to say, well, how is it we can't beat this guy? Just look how lame this is. Here's Rich Lowry writing at National Review today. It said something that you and I have said over the years. If this were Bernie Sanders saying it or Elizabeth Warren saying all these socialist things, including the kids, that would not work. So Biden, by being so addled, so who's in charge here, actually helps. It's an extension of the basement strategy. Don't let him talk too much. When he does, he fumbles. He's all over the place. Who could believe that this guy's a mastermind, a master of the universe? Nobody. So he becomes less threatening because of that, right? Think about that. Yeah, he's a lot less threatening, Biden. He can get away with these things. That's my take, and I agree with Rich Lowry on that. All right, let me give you the side question. O'Reilly here at 12:30. Phone lines are open right now. 855-839-1210. There's a lot more on Tucker Carlson. I haven't seen the numbers of people that watched last night. Brian Kilmeade was a good choice to put in there. I know some people were killing him on Twitter. He's just doing his job. I don't think Brian Kilmeade's going to be the 8 o'clock person. I don't know anybody on Fox's roster per se. I still think it's a difficult thing. You're following someone who not only had audience, but is incredibly intelligent and had made a number of points. He really drilled down on things like illegal immigration. He had a lot of influence over the Ukraine matter. Those surveys, remember Ron DeSantis talking about it? Now, I'm not in the camp with Putin that Tucker appeared to be at times. But when it comes to the Ukraine war, yesterday, Dan, we had Guy Resenthaler on. And usually I think of him as a pretty conservative guy. Several people noticed, I did too, that he started to wander into, well, we ought to be doing more in Ukraine. And he definitely wandered into Taiwan. My fear is that what's going on in Ukraine may in some way, shape, or form mitigate the idea of what to do when it comes to Taiwan. All right, side question. Give us that all-time great chorus. That all-time great chorus in a song. That's what we're looking for. I got this one off Twitter. I'm going to take Sweet Caroline off the board, not because
okay,
it's
that's a great
all-time
one.
great, just
Yeah.
because I don't want to disappoint someone who says it. Mine is going to be My Way. How about yours?
Oh, that's a good one too. My Way. I like that. I'm going to
Okay.
take Oasis's Wonderwall off the board. It's
Okay.
a very singable chorus. Let me see if I can pull that real quick.
Yeah.
You know the
Definitely.
song, yeah. And
Okay.
then, yeah.
All right. Let me give the phone numbers. You can get in right now, early before O'Reilly, 855-839-1210. Dom Giordano's show. Welcome in. It is a battle. Thank you, Joe. You're the one that said it, not us. You're the one that said it. A battle for the soul of the nation. You're putting on the armor. You're saying all your nonsensical, mythical problems that are out there, but you said it. Every generation of America has a moment they have to defend democracy. Again, with the democracy. How about the republic? Could you at least get that straight? You and your writers. Doesn't sound so good, I guess. Stand up for personal freedoms. Stand up for our right to vote and our civil rights. Let's finish the job. How many times can you run on abortion and they're not going to let us vote and everything else? By the way, Guy Shiraki has a good point today. And Dan, I would say this, and I would tell listeners, I want to get them in on this. You can ask one more time. You know the woman that's running on the Republican side over in Delaware County, right? You can ask one more time. Are they just idiots or what? All right, here's why. Here's why. Yesterday, Democrats, the latest scheme, voted out of committee a bill, Guy Shiraki had it up, and I agree with him, that says you ought to be able to count the votes earlier. No. Count them efficiently on the day of. You know what they want to do? They want to leak out to their friends in the media and their cohorts, Democrats, because of mail-in balloting, how it's going, and then have a strategic advantage. No, we don't count them before. It's bad enough we have to take them in and go through all this. So what could head this off? Well, if we have a win in the Delaware County seat, I forget her name, Dan. You may remember. You've been dealing with them, right?
Yeah, let me grab it for you.
Yeah, if we have a win in that seat because of the guy that got knocked out because of allegedly whatever his malady is with women, remember that? In Delaware County, Drexel Hill? If we win that seat, then we can stop things like this wholesale move to make it even more. They want to take away the security ballot because the idiots can't put it in the security ballot so that people can see it. They want to make it that they count the votes even before Election Day. What's her name?
Katie Ford.
Katie Ford. Hey, Katie, give us a call sometime. We'd like to help, but we're not going to chase you anymore. Are you realizing this seat, the importance of it? You know the importance of Pennsylvania. You know the stalemate going on in Harrisburg in the House, right? So if Katie Ford wins, where would be the best place for her to go for listeners for her district that might lean Republican or could be convinced or moderate? Talk Radio 1210.
Mm-hmm.
Why do we run into such difficulties? Well, Dom, you seem hostile to. You're damn right I am. We're tired of this, of the nonsense here. What the hell is going on? Democrats are moving heaven and earth to win that seat. It's a vital seat because it will determine things like what I just told you. So it passed out of committee. Democrats all voted for it. Republicans voted against it. That's where we are. My point is, when it comes up for a vote, ultimately, we don't want to be in a situation with them fooling around with mail-in ballots anymore, particularly counting before getting started before Election Day. Doesn't work that way. A lot of money was put into the budget so they can do it efficiently. Just keep counting all day long, no lunch, bring other people in, keep counting, and you'll be able to do it. Oh, no, we can't. Well, then, too bad. We're not going to start counting before Election Day. Why are Democrats always in favor of something like that? Because they know how it advantages them. That's why they're in favor of it. Okay? So, Katie Ford, you're on the clock. You wouldn't believe behind the scenes what it's like to give them a chance to energize and to give a chance to get out the vote in this critical state reps. Dan, too, we didn't remind people right here at the top where people are now laying out their food. They probably have eaten half their sandwich.
Yeah.
So
as have I.
As have you, yes. And I do all my work before, but tell them where they can watch what we're doing.
Yes,
I'm back about my autumn collection, by the way.
Dining with Dom is live right now, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Please like, subscribe us. We'd really appreciate it over there. And post up Hashtag Dining with Dom over on Twitter. What you're eating, we'd love to share with the audience.
Yeah, it's a great way to participate more fully in the show each and every day.
I love how aware our listeners are. Greg just passed behind us, and he says, "There's Greg, that corporate shill, one of the Rizzoli armies." Chiming in here.
Yeah.
What happened over there? Twisted back.
Nope. All right, let's you bring up the first caller for me, please. Dan, we'll get this straightened out here on Talk Radio 1210. Who do we have?
Ann, Wilmington.
Hey, Ann, welcome in. Thanks for being the first one in. What do you think of Joe Biden's proposal? Hi. Well, yeah, particularly on the Catholic, I'm in agreement with you. Thank you, Ann. Thanks very much. 855-839-1210. All right. Side question today. Don't forget, chorus, all-time chorus. Just saw this on Twitter. Thought it was a lot of fun. They did songline. We kind of thought by chorus, we mean the refrain, the thing that's repeated. Sweet Caroline, I took off. I can't take it when that happens.
What did she say for her answer?
She didn't say anything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she didn't say anything.
Oh, boo.
Kevin on 295 on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Kevin, good afternoon.
Hey, Dom, how are you today?
Good, Kevin.
Reason I'm calling is you're talking about the Pennsylvania mail-in balloting, and I'm driving through New York the other day. I'm going to make this a real fast story. I heard that Biden signed an executive order stating that the pandemic emergency is over. Is that correct?
Yeah, but I think there's a date certain on that. I think it's in May. I could look it up, the exact date. Yes.
And the other thing, my statement would be, if the pandemic emergency is over, why are we still mail-in balloting?
Well, in Pennsylvania, we had idiot Republicans who passed Act 77 is the reason. It's a law where you don't have to give a reason now, not absentee, not provisional. You can vote by mail if that's what you choose. That's what they did.
Oh, yeah. No, I understand that, Don, but isn't in the Pennsylvania Supreme Court? Aren't they fighting that right now?
That's
a moot point now.
I believe it's a moot point. I mean, they screwed up, and Democrats took advantage of it. So if we're going to change
they're just not going to let it go.
We have to win, and then we'd have to. I'm not sure if we could just rescind the law, or we'd have to do it by constitutional amendment. A little bit unclear on that. All right, Kevin, what's your all-time favorite song chorus?
Oh, I didn't have time to think about this because I was so excited about you talking about the mail-in balloting. I didn't even put something aside. And believe it or not, I'm in a band, and I can't even remember.
Oh, come on.
Go on, Kevin.
Just throw it out. You don't got one?
Oh, gee, let me see. Sing along. No, I'm drawing a blank. I'm sorry, guys.
Thank you, Kevin. All right, in a band. I don't know. That band must. It's kind of.
It's a solid side question. It's been pretty hot on Twitter. Our YouTube,
it's a great side question.
The Dine with Dom crew has been going pretty solid with it. So
yeah. All right, so hit us with that at 855-839-1210. No, don't let anybody tell you on this mail-in ballot stuff. We need to start count. Oh, we wouldn't be able to count. It's Democrats, 12-9 vote in the committee in Harrisburg. Guy Shiraki's right. This is more mischief with the media, with Democrats, slow walking vote counting, speeding it up. That's exactly what they'll try to do in places like Philadelphia. No. Well, we can't count them. Yeah, well, that's what you were given all the money to do. Oh, yeah? We'll see if we count them then. No. It's an edge to them. And the type of stuff that could stop this when it comes up for a vote before the full House will be if people like Katie Ford is elected in this special election, But again, Dan has tried several times. I mean, it's like, how are you running for office and you don't know when 1210, I'll say it, 1210, Talk Radio 1210 calls you, you instantly say, I'm there. What time? Where? Midnight on a Friday. Now, how is it you're running this? It's embarrassing what you have to go through with Republicans. All right, let's go to Greg in Vineland, New Jersey. Hey, Greg, good afternoon.
Hey, how are you? Just a quick thing for the tune, maybe Hey Jude.
Yeah, tell me why do you like that one?
Because I was so sick of it when I was a kid in the 60s. It must have played it 5,000 times a day. And you hear,
yeah, well, it's
like,
catchy.
oh
Yes, it is catchy. It is one of the Beatles' biggest refrains. By the way, I'm looking, even Philadelphia quite hasn't done this. A Target in San Francisco, the Target there, has every item essentially locked up. You come into the Target, want something, San Fran, and you want something. It doesn't look like a huge Target. I don't see clothing. Everything is locked up.
Like, so you're talking a gate,
mini.
like a gate. So
no, it's in cabinets.
How I'm picturing this when I close my eyes. So cabinets. So when you walk into Home Depot, if you go to the spray paint section in Home Depot, there's like a cabinet covering the entire aisle. You have that for every aisle now in this Target?
Yes. The whole thing is behind glass.
Wow.
And so you have to go and tell. I mean, can you imagine what do they have to walk around the store with you as you're making your selections?
That's the thing. Do they have a staffer standing at the end of each aisle ready to open it? Because like CVS here has in Northeast Philly, we have our CVS's certain products are locked behind and you have to ring a bell and someone has to come help you open it up.
Yeah, historically shaving razors and stuff like that. Blades were, some of it I get. I don't really get, but okay. No, Dan, this is essentially every item is locked up. I don't know how you can do commerce or do business. You're telling yourself you're just beyond, you're a fourth world country, if that's what's going on. Yeah. I don't know that that's quite come to where we are. All right. I can see Bill O'Reilly shopping in a place like that. Bill is in the on-deck circle. Couldn't be a better person to get in that I could think of, other than Tucker Carlson in this situation. Talk about what happened here. Now, O'Reilly, last time he was on, talked about Fox moving away from Trump. Trump, I have what he said, and it wasn't, he didn't go nuts over this. He just said he was shocked given everything that goes on. Or is it shocking given what was going on inside? And what happens next? Bill O'Reilly, the great Bill O'Reilly, next here on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, do you know if you're getting all the nutrients you need from your diet alone? Well, 92% of Americans are deficient in one of the essential vitamins needed for optimal health. That's why it's time to try one of Rescue Natural Vitamins' new one-a-day Men 360 or Women 360 multivitamins. Endorsed by every Rescue doctor, Rescue's new multis are convenient, and they're an easy way to ensure your body gets the essentials that you need to feel your best. And right now, a daily regimen is just $10 a month or 33 cents a day. To get yours, call 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483. Speak to a knowledgeable Rescue product consultant. You can also visit Rescue, res-q.com, res-q.com. Remember, for only $10 a month, you can get a Rescue multivitamin that fills the nutritional gaps you need. Again, call 800-26-ALIVE or visit res-q.com.
Happy Tuesday, everyone. Bright and sunny conditions across the entire region at this hour. Temperatures are climbing up, and for this afternoon, I'm anticipating a high temperature near 62 degrees. Calm weather expected as we get into tonight, with temperatures dropping into the mid and low 40s across the city. It'll be a chilly start of our Wednesday morning, but tomorrow we should climb up near 63 degrees during the afternoon. A few more clouds will be rolling by. We could see a few showers or even a thunderstorm near our area during the afternoon. As we head into Thursday, dry weather will return. Expect a high near 66 during the afternoon. I'm NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Marvin Gomez.
It is time. Thanks for watching us. Thanks for listening. And it allows us to reach out and bring you some of the best people in the country. Any day, it's a good day to talk to Bill O'Reilly. But particularly after that slot, Bill O'Reilly, Tucker Carlson, who could possibly have that type of gravitas? Or is Fox going to do something different? Let's go to Bill O'Reilly here on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Bill, thanks for joining us. Were you at all surprised by this? It was kind of sudden.
Yeah, I would say it was. I predicted that there would be changes at the Fox News channel, and there's still more to come. But the way it was done it was, I trained many of the people who run the Fox News shows now. So I know what happens there. And Monday morning, the Carlson people were meeting, as they do each morning, to put together their evening program, the rundown and the guest list and all that. And that's when they found out that the host wouldn't be coming to work that night or any other night. And I believe, I haven't spoken to Carlson, but I believe that he only found out Monday morning. So that tells you that there was chaos in this decision-making process, which I believe is true. And, unfortunately, people read the internet and they listen to the network news and the other cables and stuff. 90% of that is just blather. It's just, they make it up. They don't know. It's anonymous sources. There's only one man who could have made that decision, and that's Rupert Murdoch. Nobody else. He had to sign off on it, and he did. And he did, I understand, because his lawyers said, look, we got at least 4 more lawsuits coming at us, all involving Tucker Carlson. And if we don't get out in front of this, it's going to be another $100 million that we're going to have to pay out. And they just made the calculation that, for business purposes, they'd have to let him go. And that's what happened.
This sets a tone. Do you agree with that, too? That if these keep on coming, then more people jump in. And this producer, Bill, apparently, there's a lot of wild stuff that she claims. Is that the major lawsuit that they were afraid of?
I think they fear that lawsuit. They'll settle with her. She'll take about between 10 and 15 million out of that operation, which is chump change to them. From what I understand, she went in there and began taping everybody. So they have tape, and some of the tape is unflattering toward the Carlson operation. They don't want that tape out, the Fox News people. So they'll make a deal fairly rapidly, I believe. Suit's been filed in New York City. But this is the age we live in now. So if you are a employer, if you're a media guy, if you're a politician, assume you're being taped by someone who will use that tape against you. And as we live in a world of Judas Iscariots, and that's just the fact.
Yeah, Bill, I mean, without saying too much, because I know it's a sore subject, because I filled in for you on the radio, and I remember a situation there with you. It's shocking when you have people that are put into a great position, getting to work with great talent for their career. And like this producer, apparently, they go in there every day just as a spy. It's stunning.
Well, it isn't when you understand that a producer on a television or radio program will make 100,000, 200,000 tops. And, if they get incriminating stuff against a company, they can make 10 million. And that's the money calculation. And that's what we have in this country. And the media plays right into it by every allegation's a conviction. So it doesn't really matter what happened or what's true. Just the allegation is front page news. Everybody knows the game. The lawyers are lined up from here to San Francisco.
Yeah. So, Bill, I think I agree with you that this does hurt Fox. There's a certain level of skill, intelligence, undefinable gravitas, and maybe Tucker didn't quite have that in the beginning. I read what you said, how he moved much more to the right. But by the end, he was someone. The DeSantis survey on Ukraine was an example. The things that you did in that slot are an example. It goes well beyond the 2 to 3 million people. it actually makes a tremendous amount of news. How do you replace that?
I don't think they can replace Carlson. Their bench is weak. All their personnel are frightened. I don't think he's going to be replaced to any extent at all. Tucker Carlson is a smart man, and he's been around a long time, and he understood that when he took over for me for the first 3 years, the ratings were what they call soft for him. And then he said, I'm going to do what Rush Limbaugh does. And that's what he did. And he did it well in the sense that he targeted a hard right audience. He gave them what they wanted to hear. Not to say that he was a phony. I don't know that. And it never bothered me what he said, ever one day did it bother me what he said. Because my contention is, if you don't like it, don't watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I mean, I disagree with him. I disagree with Glenn Beck. I disagree with Sean Hannity. I disagree with you. I mean...
wait a minute there.
Yeah, I mean... when you go in and say lasagna is better than the manicotti, I'm going, no.
Oh, yeah.
So robust debate and differences of opinion make life interesting. And I never had a beef with Carlson. I think that he made mistakes in the way that he positioned things. I don't think he was using the full extent of his resources to back up his opinions with facts, as I do, 100%, which is why I wasn't sued or anything like that for 20 years plus, because we wouldn't say it unless we knew it. But it's hard to do that, and it takes a while to do that. And it's a disappearing thing in journalism. Now they just go on there and they throw the bombs, and he was popular and made a very big name for himself in this country, so he's not going to be able to be replaced.
Wow. Yeah, and what does that mean? Go back to what Bill O'Reilly said last week about Fox moving away from Trump because of the Dominion suit, and this is probably Rupert Murdoch, another signal, another vibe there. You better not be all trumped up, I would assume.
Well, it hurts Donald Trump more than anybody in the country, the removal of Carlson. Carlson was not a party guy. I mean, he went after Republicans and probably went after the left more, but he wasn't a party guy by any means. He was bored by the political process. He wanted to be a contrarian, and that's what he did. But in 2016, Donald Trump was elected because of the Fox News Channel. The Fox News Channel, by and large, and I was there then, got behind him in the sense that they brought him on. He had his way with many of the interviewers. He could say what he wanted to say. Not with me. I would challenge. But his exposure there was so vast that it propelled him into the White House. But now in 2024, that's not going to be there. I mean, the Murdochs have already said they don't want him back in the White House. And so he doesn't have the canon, Donald Trump, that he did. And now with, a very conservative voice, Carlson, out, their audience, which was already declining, Dom, and I think we talked about this.
Yes.
The Fox News audience has been declining, particularly in the 25 to 54 range, for the past 6 months in a fairly significant way. And now it'll decline more. So is cable news over? After the election of 24, they get a bump in the campaign, all three of them, but then it's over because it's just not stimulating enough. You turn on the shows, you know what you're going to hear. That's why Carlson had separated himself, because when you turned him on, you didn't know what you were going to hear. And that appealed to a lot of people.
I would agree. It was very, very different. So does Carlson go the way of the pioneer, BillO'Reilly.com, Megyn Kelly,
he does.
independent? Yeah,
he'll do very well. He's not going to work for corporate media. And he doesn't need to. He'll make tons of money marketing a podcast like Joe Rogan or building up some kind of social media organization because he's got a lot of followers and they're angry and they'll follow him. When I left 6 years ago, it's ironic. It's almost 6 years to the week. Carlson gets whacked when I left. I still have 100,000 premium members on BillO'Reilly.com. I mean, last night we got 700 premium members, Tom.
Wow.
Just last night.
Yeah. But Bill,
because people are going, where am I
come
going
to
to go?
you. Yeah, they come
Go
to
ahead.
you and say, go back at 8 o'clock. The platform that you
never.
made, never.
I'm never going to work for a corporation again in the sense that anybody's telling me what to do. Now, they didn't tell me when I was at Fox News what to do. They did not. But there was always a corporate layer that you had to deal with. And now I'm the CEO of my own news operation, which I think is the most successful independent news organization in the world. Why would I go back into those precincts when I got to deal with the spies, right? You got to deal with all that. I don't want to deal with all that. I mean, I went through it. It's horrific. So anyway, Carlson will prosper. There's no doubt in my mind that he will.
Bill, upcoming too. We're getting closer to Mother's Day, Father's Day. Speaking of Bill O'Reilly Enterprises, you got several books that are perfect for that. I don't know how many times, particularly for Father's Day, people think Dad's hard to get, and they give him a Bill O'Reilly book. I've given to people over the course of time. What would you recommend?
Well, we're trying to fight this culture war with humor. So, look, the Killing books, you've got 12 of them out, and Killing the Witches comes up in September. It'll be the 13th. And those books, 19 million copies in print. I mean, if Dad is a reader, if he likes history, if he likes anything like that, he'll love the books. But we're doing Team Normal now. So it's Team Normal versus Team Crazy in this country. I'm sorry about the dog.
Oh, that's okay.
The dog gets excited when I say Team Normal because the terror dog, Holly, the terror dog is the Team Normal mascot. So we have gear. We have shirts and hats.
What kind of
mugs.
doggy is that, Bill? What kind of dog is O'Reilly?
It's a corgi.
Oh, okay.
And you got to follow this dog around with a vacuum cleaner. The dog sheds. It's unbelievable. But she's a team mascot of Team Normal. And we put out a bumper sticker. So when I was driving back from watching my son's lacrosse game in Boston, I got cut off by a guy in a Mass Pike. And the bumper sticker on his Honda read, "Religion Fake News." Okay?
Sounds like a road rage incident ready here. Yeah.
Yeah. And I went, wow, look at that. It's Massachusetts, so I wasn't surprised. And then I said, I'm going to have my own bumper sticker, which reads, "Atheism, nothing there."
Oh, boy.
And so if you buy anything on BillO'Reilly.com, we'll send you 2 of these "Atheism, nothing there" bumper stickers free. And I'm telling my audience, I'm saying, look, we're fighting this culture war differently now. We're fighting it with humor, not ridicule, because everybody has their tribe and their side. And I think the ridicule is boring now. The reaction Tucker Carlson was on television. It was the same old people doing the same old nonsense. I mean, God, how can people sit there and watch it? I just don't even know. They don't. And the late night television collapsed because of this kind of predictable political garbage. The cables, MSNBC and CNN, they can't get any audience to watch them no matter what they do. And now, unfortunately, the Fox News channel is not going to be nearly as powerful as it used to be.
I hear you. BillO'Reilly.com. Any guess, Bill, who they put in there coming from you, your insight?
Any guests? What do you mean?
No, who would they put into the Carlson slot?
They don't have anybody. So what you need in that slot, and that is the most important slot in any prime time news operation. What you need there, first of all, is somebody with authority. All right, where when you go on the air, people believe you because of your experience, because of your ability to communicate, and so on. So you have to have that. And that takes years to build up, that kind of authority. Some call it credibility. I don't think it's so much a credibility as you've got to be able to convince the viewer and listener on radio that you know what you're talking about.
It's authority. It's not credibility. You're right. Credibility is too weak of a word. It's
Right.
authority. What does O'Reilly say about it? What does Tucker
That's
Carlson
right.
say about it? That's it. That's the pedigree. I agree with you. Hey, Bill.
And they don't have anybody at this juncture who can do that 5 nights a week. It's hard to do. I have never worked harder than I did when I was working the factory, except for now, because now I got to deal with the 60 people that I employ, and you know, I got 3 corporations, radio, television, and books, and I mean, so it's crazy, but it's not like it was over there because I created that out of nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm always appreciative, particularly in a day like this. You take the time to come on, tell us what you're thinking, Bill. Thank you.
All right, Dom, anytime.
Thank
Talk
you.
soon.
Bill
Bye.
O'Reilly here on Talk Radio 1210. He's right, Dan. Who has the authority to do that? Now, Jesse Waters does a good show. He's entertaining. He's a good guy. But you see what the difficulty is. Tucker Carlson was different. O'Reilly certainly was different. Both of them. Who over there? I've heard some of the names thrown out, and I can't imagine it. I think they're in a tough spot, particularly with all that's going on.
I saw a couple names. Gutfeld, no. Jesse Waters.
Well, I think you can get by with that for now. But Jesse Waters is not that type of. That's not the type of thing he does.
How about Kennedy from Fox Business?
I like her, but oh man, that's.
I'm just thinking in the realm of smugness. I think Kennedy pulls it off really well.
Yeah, she's very smart, but I don't know. All right, 855-839-1210. Give me your reaction to O'Reilly on this. Does Fox have someone there that you would watch? We got the Biden thing out there. I didn't ask him about the politics, Dan, because I knew what he's going to say on that. I don't think Tucker's going to run for president. Tucker's going to set up an independent media company, just like O'Reilly
Well, I
and
think we
Megyn
all
Kelly.
know. I mean, it's a stupid question, but I wanted to hear what he would have to say about the potential, and also more so, I wanted to hear if he ever, in his entire career, ever considered
man,
run
I
for
think
politics.
he doesn't suffer fools too well, Dan.
Yeah.
You've worked for Stern, and I've been around O'Reilly. We've been around 2 of the seminal figures, without a doubt.
I mean, even Stern, he got the the bug to run for governor of New York at one time. So
he didn't do it though.
Yeah.
All right, 855-839-1210. You get on board. Great guns. Really looking forward to it. What's happening? Joining me this summer in Italy. Last time we had O'Reilly on, he talked about 10 visits he had to Italy. It's the most revisited country in the world. It's Rome, it's Florence, it's Tuscany, Milan, Lake Maggiore, the foot of the Alps, and then Venice. Talking to my financial guy yesterday about Venice. Every single person talks about Venice in glowing terms. And this trip with Conservative Tours, they have a plus rating with the BBB. Think of the name, Conservative Tours. That's not by happenstance. They deal with talk radio. They know us. They like that kind of feeling. They accommodate. You've heard Giuseppe on with us, for example. We'll do all the usual things that I just mentioned, but we'll visit an authentic balsamic farm. We'll go to medieval villages like Orvieto, soak up the warm afternoons rolling along the back roads of Tuscany, and the wine. It's all there. Only $52.67. Includes airfare, the Colosseum, Michelangelo's David, the Vatican. Did I mention magical, romantic Venice? You will love it. So call 888-733-9494, 888-733-9494. Better yet, go to the website right now. Check out all the details, then talk with them. conservativetours.com. Dom Giordano Show. You know what this Biden re-election bid too, because everybody focuses on Biden, how adult he is at this point, projects a couple years, then projects another term on top of that. You know what it does? It's a good thing, and I think we have a cut of her in the next hour, the latest nonsense. It focuses on Vice President Kamala Harris. All right. And I'm hoping during the election, that's the focus. Oh, my God. Look at Biden already. Imagine, can he last through that? And look who's coming in off the bench. Trying to think of who I would liken that to, Dan. Like the all-time worst replacement. I look down the bench. I have Joel Embiid. And I look over there. It's Borowski coming in. Well, he's 6'8".
You just call me the all-time worst replacement?
Well, in the NBA,
yeah,
you are
might be
6'8". You might be there.
Can't shoot, can't run,
right.
Can't jump.
Then I got this other guy over there. He's about 5'9". I don't know. It's a tough call. All right, put Borowski in. All right, we'll search for that.
And Dom, if you're not,
analogy.
if listeners aren't tuned into youtube.com/@1210WPHT, you're missing a lot today. One of our listeners, Minnie, posted up on Twitter a picture of her pizza lunch, and it's a pizza lunch down in Texas at a pizza buffet, Dom. And I got to tell you,
oh yeah,
I said it on social that the pizza doesn't look too appetizing. Texas pizza,
yeah, pretty bad, Minnie. But by the way, who was Tucker's last guest? The pizza guy who tripped up the car guy the carjacker out there in Delaware County. And they ate pizza.
It was a great segment to end on.
Yes,
And also on YouTube, I put up there that she's got to come up to, she lives down in Texas, up to Philadelphia to try some Philadelphia pizza, which is better than New York pizza. And I'm getting a little bit of flack for that.
All right. We'll continue. Big 1 o'clock hour, 855-839-1210.